spinning records, got the lights down low. Souldisco, where the groovy people go. Hit play, let the music flow. Old school beats with a modern glow.
Hello everybody and a very warm welcome back to the latest episode of Hidden Jewels of Soul and Disco. I do hope you're doing absolutely fantastic. I beg your pardon, it took some time to shoot new episodes of Hidden Jewels of Soul and Disco because, as some of you may know, I started a reissue label which is called Souldisco Records, and I was quite busy with the first release, which will be Melody of Life by Gwen McRae, and it will be coming out in mid-July. And then we have some follow-ups with Let's Train It Out and of course her debut album. And this is all in the works by now, and that was quite busy. But today it's not about Gwen McRae, it's about the one and only and a highly underrated singer, in my humble opinion, the legendary Tyrone Davis.
With you, baby, I'm in love with you. Trying to tell you, without you I'm nothing at all. I said I'm nothing, baby. Oh, when I needed you. Oh, when you needed me, baby.
Tyrone Davis, aka Tyrone Fatson, was born in Mississippi. The date of his birth is a little unclear, but I go with October of 1937. He moved with his father to Michigan, but ended up in 1959 in Chicago, where he had kind of his first step in the music business when he became a driver for the legendary blues singer Freddie King. Driving him around helped him to learn a little bit, or his first steps in the music business, and he started to appear in small and local clubs. Up to that point when a music executive and musician discovered him, and this one was Harold Bourage. And he secured him some deals for various labels, and some of these were Four Brothers and Zach Records. These first recordings didn't do much, but he continued his path. He was announced as Tyrone the Wonder Boy, a name which he later, I think, didn't like so much. At least he didn't want it to be called that way.
Lynn Collins and the Wonder Boy. Well, that's a private joke. When Tyrone first started out in the business, he was known as Tyrone the Wonder Boy. When he became a star, he said, "Don't call me no Wonder Boy no more."
It took till 1968 till something should change dramatically for Tyrone. Tyrone was then discovered by no other than Carl Davis, who founded a new label, Dakar Records, which had a distribution deal with Atlantic. And the hits poured in like rain. Let's start with the song A Woman Needs to Be Loved. And on the B-side was a song which should change everything. Can I Change My Mind? And this one was getting quite the buzz and radio airplay.
Knowing all the time, oh Lord, I just didn't want to go.
You remember in the beginning when I was talking about Tyrone Davis, aka Tyrone Fatson? Well, Tyrone, when he became part of Decca Records, changed his name. And he took the last name from the man who discovered him. Therefore, he became Tyrone Davis. And in 1970, Tyrone should release his biggest hit single. And I'm pretty sure if you're watching this channel, you're all familiar with this tune, Turn Back the Hands of Time. And still today, it's as flawless and as beautiful as ever. If you don't know that song, I highly suggest that you check out that tune. During his decade years, he released quite some albums, and there are two which I want to point out. And this is Tyrone Davis, It's All in the Game, and here it is in all of its 70s glory. If you want to have an original copy, they are out there and they are available. Highly, highly recommended. Also one which I want to recommend, and once again, I love the 70s style, is Home Wrecker. You find these, once again, depending on the condition, between $10 to $50 or euro. But once again, original copies are available. The success continued, and in 1975 he released one of my favorite songs, and this was called Turning Point, and the album was also called Turning Point. Let's have a listen.
No more staying out late for me.
After the release of Turning Point, he switched labels and went to Colombia and continued his string of hits. Here are a few. Give It Up, This I Swear, In the Mood. And he was known as the king of romantic Chicago soul. He released quite a lot of albums on Colombia, and I want to present to you all of them because, in my humble opinion, these are all worth to have a listen. Let's start with Love and Touch from 1976. Let's Be Closer in 1977. I Can't Go On This Way from 1978. Can't You Tell It's Me from 1979. In the Mood with Tyrone Davis from 1979. Once again, also highly, highly recommended. I Just Can't Keep On Going from 1980. And his last album on Colombia was Everything in Place in 1981. In 1982, he switched labels again and went to High Rise and had yet another hit single, which was called Are You Serious?, which was also written by L.V. Johnson. And this track was included on the album Tyrone Davis, and also this one is available if you want to have an original copy. The following year, in 1983, High Rise closed its doors, and Tyrone was once again on the search for a new label. Oceanfront was his new home, and he released the album Something Good, which included the song Let Me Be Your Pacifier, which is considered one of his best performances. But guess what? It didn't become a hit. Well, I think you already know why, because having a small label means having a small budget with marketing and promotion, and therefore it pretty much didn't do well, which is a shame. Have a listen to that one. His next record deal was in 1991 with Ishiban Records, where he released 3 albums, and one album included the tracks Mom's Apple Pie, which became a fan favorite. But unfortunately, these albums didn't do well. Belmark Live Records became his new home in 1994, where he released the album For the Good Times. But once again, doing a lack of promotion, this album didn't do much. All in all, this was a very difficult period of time for Tyrone because he wasn't the hit machine he used to be. The musical landscape changed a lot. Also, his contract with Moloko Records couldn't change that. And there's a video online, which I did not want to include in this video, where he's having a conversation with a record label boss, and he actually begs to get signed, to have one shot, to have one try on that label to prove that he's worth it. And For me, it was very heartbreaking to watch. I'll put the link of that video down in the description below, but I really didn't want to include it up here. There were moments I was really, really angry at that record label owner, because you had there in front of you a legend. Yes, he wasn't a hit machine, but one record, one single, not worth the try for Tyrone Davis. That's a shame. Tyrone Davis proved to be a very popular act in the revival circus. He was also on the special of the PBS special on 1970 soul music in 2004, where he performed Turn Back the Hands of Time. In 2004, he had a stroke and therefore had to quit his musical career. On February the 9th in 2005, just being 67 years old, Tyrone Davis passed away. For me, on this channel, it's always very important to point out artists, singer, songwriter, musicians, producer, who are not on the radar. And Tyrone Davis deserves a top spot, in my humble opinion, in all of your soul playlists. You'll find his music on Spotify, on YouTube, and also if you want to have his original records, they're out there. In the Mood with Tyrone Davis, which I already mentioned, is an absolutely stellar record, like the ones I've shown you. Therefore, go check him out. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. I'm wishing you guys a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you on the next one.